Today's lesson is How will AI change life in the future? Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're going to be talking about AI. Okay, this has been all the rage during the past year. It seems like maybe 1 or 2 years ago, you didn't really hear people talk about AI too much. And then along came ChatGPT and some other programs. And now it seems like all we talk about is AI and how it's going to change our lives.
Absolutely. People kind of say that AI will change things in the way that the internet did back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And if we think of all the change that's happened since then with the internet and how it's come to basically affect every part of our lives, from how we work to how we shop to how we communicate, AI could be leaps and bounds, meaning much, much more revolutionary. So it's very important, even if it doesn't feel like AI might affect you in your life, it is very important to learn about it because it will affect you in your life, if not now, and certainly into the distant future. So let's read the first part of our article, and we'll find out about how AI will change life in the future. How will AI change life in the future? The development of AI is advancing rapidly and is likely to transform industries and daily life in countless ways. This raises important questions about its possible effects going forward. Here are the opinions of 8 individuals from various walks of life on this important topic.
All right, the first paragraph just introduces us to this particular topic. Again, it's about AI, or artificial intelligence, and the development of AI is advancing rapidly and is likely to transform industries and daily life in countless ways. So we're talking about the development of AI. It's with us and we are developing it, and it is advancing day by day, and it is advancing or moving forward or improving rapidly, very quickly, and therefore it's going to change industries, companies, and it's also going to change our daily lives in countless ways. I guess we have some sort of idea how AI is going to change our lives, but the rest we don't really know. We won't know until the future.
Absolutely, but it is so important and it will change things so great. I guess we can be confident that in, 10, 20, 30 years, it will be hard to count all the ways that it has changed our lives. So that's why we can say there are countless ways. So this raises important questions about its possible effects going forward. So to bring up or to raise an important question is basically to bring up something that's important that we should think about. Maybe we don't have the answers to these questions right now. As an example with AI, we don't know what the future will hold, but there are many, many important questions that we need to think about to predict and to be prepared for the possible effects, the possible ways AI can change our lives going forward, meaning just into the future, going from now into future times. Here are the opinions of 8 individuals from various walks of life on this important topic. So we're going to do a little, they would call in television or radio, a vox pop, a voice of the people, see what people think when they're asked this question. How do you think AI will change your life, or something like that? So we're going to get people's opinions. Some of them will be more in the expert category. Some will be just sort of normal people. That's why we talk about people here being from various walks of life, many walks of life. There are many different types of people from different types of society, different jobs, different ages, different genders, different interests. And so it's always a very good way to get a big picture viewpoint on a certain important topic. So let's get into it. We're going to hear the first of several sort of interviews and questions and answers about how AI might change people's lives in the future, starting with Joel. So let's listen to his opinion, and then we'll come back to talk about it. Joel, 35, software developer.
AI has already become a game changer in my field. It makes both coding and debugging more efficient, which lets us focus on more interesting and complex work. I'm really excited to see what it will let us do in the future.
大家好，第二部分介绍名词 developer， 它的意思是想法、设计、产品等的开发者或是开发商。例如 Ada is a software developer whose products are popular across the globe. Ada 是一名产品很受全球喜爱的软体开发人员。或者 The software developer created an innovative app for tracking fitness goals. 该软体开发人员创造了一个创新的应用程式来追踪健身目标。 再来看到动词 code 表示为点点点编码，课文中的 coding 为动名词，指写程式。例如 Coding can be both a creative and logical process. 写程式可以是创意和逻辑的结合过程。接续看到动词 debug， 它的意思是排除程式中的错误。课文中 debugging 为动名词，表示除错。例如 Debugging is an essential part of the software development process. 除错是软体开发过程中的重要部分。也可以说Debugging tools help developers identify and fix errors in their code. 除错工具帮助开发者识别并修正程式中的错误。后面介绍形容词 efficient， 表示效率高的或是有效的。我们可以说 The new system streamlined our processes and made them more efficient. 新的系统简洁化了我们的流程，也使它们更有效率了。
Okay, here's what Joel has to say. He's 35 years old, and he is a software developer. Okay, a developer, of course, is someone who develops something. They figure out how to do it, how to make it, and then they add things to it, and it gets better and better. So, of course, he works on software for computers. And he says, AI has already become a game changer in my field. Okay, so a game changer means it's something that changes the game or changes the way things are done. So, of course, he's been writing software probably for many years, and now AI has come on the scene, and it has changed his career. It's a major game changer in his particular field of software development. He goes on to say it makes both coding and debugging more efficient, which lets us focus on more interesting and complex work. Okay, so these are things involved with software development. You've got coding, which I believe is all about writing the language for the computer so the program knows what to do in certain situations. And debugging means you get rid of the viruses, the nasty things that are in there, and you want to make these things efficient so that they work really well in a short amount of time.
Absolutely. And that, as Joel says, if they have AI doing some of that more boring work, the coding, the debugging, that will programmers like him to focus on more interesting and complex work. They'll probably be doing more of the creative stuff, thinking of new types of software, designing the interesting parts of the software and not the sort of nuts and bolts, the basic building blocks that can easily be handled by an AI software program. So that will definitely free up their time for more interesting and complicated or complex work. He says, I'm really excited to see what it will let us do in the future. Yeah, I think this is one of those hopes for AI. It will allow people to do more creative work because a lot of the sort of basic work that needs to be done can be handled by the AI. We'll see if that's how it works out, but certainly with AI being able to do many simple tasks very efficiently, it could allow people to do more interesting stuff, as Joel hopes. All right, now we're going to have a couple more interviews. First, we're going to hear from Linda, who's a teacher, and then Mike, a young marketing manager. So let's listen to that, the second and third interviews, and the third and final part of today's article.
Linda, 42, teacher.
AI certainly has some potential benefits. For example, it could enable teachers to tailor lessons to each individual student. At the same time, some students are routinely using it to cheat on essays and other homework already. So it's going to be tricky to make the most of it while limiting its harms.
Mike, 28, marketing manager. AI can be used to analyze tons of data. That makes it easier to understand what people want and need, which in turn allows us to personalize marketing content so that it's more targeted and effective.
第三部分看到形容词 potential， 意思是潜在的或是可能的。例如 The shop lures in potential customers with attractive window displays. 那家店用吸睛的橱窗展示来吸引潜在客人。又或者说 The potential impact of the typhoon has caused much concern. 这个台风可能带来的冲击引发诸多忧虑。接着介绍名词 marketing， 指的是行销学或是销售。举例来说 Lydia studied marketing at university to understand consumer behavior. Lydia 在大学学习行销学，以了解消费者行为。又或者说 Good marketing can create strong brand loyalty among customers. 良好的行销可以在顾客中创造强大的品牌忠诚度。再来看到动词 analyze 表示分析，例如 The data must be analyzed before a conclusion can be made. 那些资料得经过分析才能做出结论。也可以说 We must analyze the data to understand its meaning. 我们必须分析这些资料才能了解其中的意义。最后看到名词 content 表示内容、含量或是成分。我们可以说 This program's content is suitable for children. 这个节目的内容适合儿童。也可以说 The fat content of a food product is usually written on the label. 食品的脂肪含量通常写在标签上。
Okay, first, let's hear what Linda has to say. She's 42 years old, and she is a teacher. She says AI certainly has some potential benefits. So here we've got the word potential. That just means the possibility of something happening in the future, usually something good. So she thinks that, yeah, AI will have some benefits in the future. That's for sure. These are potential benefits. They're benefits that we can all take advantage of.
Exactly. It shows a lot of promise. It has a lot of possibility, but we don't exactly know right now. Linda's very correct about this. Time will tell. We'll see how things develop in the future, but she has a few good guesses here. She says, for example, it could, right? Because we don't know, but she's sort of making a prediction here. It could enable teachers to tailor lessons to each individual student. So there you go. You could have your basic geography lesson, but putting it through some kind of AI teacher filter, you could change or tailor that lesson, kind of customize it to each individual student. Students that respond well to visual things could have more visual stimulus, visual media, and so on. So that's an interesting idea. At the same time, she says, some students are routinely using it to cheat on essays and other homework already. So this would be definitely a negative effect, a negative side of AI in the classroom. It allows students who use it to routinely cheat on essays and other homework. And she says they're doing this already. If you do something routinely, it's like doing it regularly. It's a feature of your life. It's a feature of your daily schedule. It's something you're quite familiar with. So they're already quite often, basically, she says, using it to cheat on essays. You can get an AI program to write your history homework or write your English essay or something like that fairly easily. And they're doing this with other homework also. She says, so it's going to be tricky to make the most of it while limiting its harms. Yeah, that's always a challenge with technology in the classroom. If you want the students to do the work, do the reading, do the memorizing, and know the knowledge for the test, well, there are many ways that technology can help them do that or can help them to cheat to do that. So making the most of it in the classroom will be difficult. Using AI as much as they can, as much as possible for the good of the students will have to be balanced with also making sure the students don't use it to cut corners and cheat and get around doing the important work they need to do. It will be a very interesting development as that goes forward. Now let's move on to Mike, 28, marketing manager. What does he have to say?
Okay, well, here's what Mike has to say. Again, he's 28 years old and he's a marketing manager. Marketing, of course, is when businesses try to figure out the market, where they can sell their products and stuff like that. So he's in business here, and he says AI can be used to analyze tons of data. Some people say data, but I've heard data more often. It's just a bunch of information, facts and figures, numbers and things like that. And if you analyze something, well, you break it down, you look at it, you look at the little details of it, you try to find some details in it, you make some conclusions from it. So you basically interpret the information. And yes, indeed, AI can be very useful in this regard because if you rely on people, well, people are subjective. Maybe they don't interpret the information objectively. So if you use AI to do that, it may actually give you some better details.
Very interesting idea. I guess he's kind of looking at AI in the same way that Joel, the software developer, was looking at it. AI will be very useful to them for doing a lot of this sort of what we might call grunt work, the sort of difficult, hard work that needs to be done, but it's not fun, it's time-consuming, it's labor-intensive. If you can get a robot to, dig the hole instead of having the human workers do it, that will will allow the humans to do things that take more technical knowledge and skills and creativity. In the same way, you have the AI writing the basic programs, doing the debugging that Joel mentions, the editing, the proofreading of the software. And in the same way for Mike, you don't have to go through those charts and charts of data when they do marketing surveys, when they take sales data from all across the country and kind of break it down and try to understand everything that it's telling them about who's buying the product, when, why, how, that kind of thing. So you can analyze this data very, very easily. And then the program hopefully will spit out a nice, easily understandable, easily comprehended breakdown of all this data the real human marketing people can then use to make the important decisions. As he says, it makes it easier to understand what people want and need. And of course, easier for the salespeople to not have to crunch all those numbers, which in turn, as a result, allows us to personalize marketing content. In the same way that Linda thought they could personalize teaching plans for each student, here Mike is thinking that they can personalize marketing content. When we talk about content is just what we find in a certain form of media. Basically, if you open a newspaper, the content will be recent affairs, right? Recent news from both local and international. Marketing content could be everything from TV ads to posters to internet ads, pop-up banners on your favorite website, all of that kind of stuff. So they can basically find ways to notify customers, potential customers, and current customers both about plans for the future for the company, new products they might be announcing, and do it in a way that will catch the most eyeballs, catch the most attention, and get through to those markets, those groups of people that they see as potential customers in the most effective way. So that, he says, it's more targeted and effective. And I think that's what a lot of marketing people really enjoy about using the internet, getting data through Facebook and things like that. They can really sort of personalize their advertising in the belief that this advertising will then be more appealing, more attractive to potential customers. We'll see if that's all true, but it certainly sounds like it makes sense.
It does seem to make sense indeed. And again, he's talking about content here. Don't confuse this word with content. It's a different pronunciation there. Content means you're satisfied, you're happy about something. But here he's talking about marketing content, and he believes that AI can be useful in that regard in terms of analyzing the data and coming to some useful conclusions. And I guess the rest of us could benefit from companies figuring out the market and presenting products to us that we could use and maybe pay less for. So yeah, I guess it can help everybody all around. I did kind of want to go back to what Linda was talking about here. She was talking about students using AI to cheat on essays. I think she's referring to is ChatGPT specifically. I think a lot of people are using that program to write their papers. Have you ever tried to use ChatGPT there, Mike?
Never, not once. It kind of frightens me, and I don't really understand it. So I think I should.
Well, my wife took a class in terms of AI, or in regards to AI. The subject was AI, and she did introduce me to ChatGPT, and she told me what you do. You enter the information here, blah, 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 and then you come up with an essay. And I was quite impressed, actually. Of course, you're going to have to tweak it a little bit. It may not write exactly what you want, but you can go into it and make some changes. And I'm not quite sure if this is something that students should be using. Should they come up with their own essays, or should they rely on ChatGPT to do this for them?
That's the thing. I guess if it's always going to be around, then it's good to be skilled at using it. But you worry in the same way that you have students today who can't write with a pen very well. You worry what happens if the technology has a problem. If we lose these tools, then we'll be sort of back, well, even worse off than we were before, because a lot of the basic teaching isn't being done because AI and whatnot makes it sort of inefficient and redundant these days. But that's only and as long as you have that handy software helper there with you.
And also, there are some AI programs that can generate photographs as well. Have you tried to use those before?
No, but I've heard of ones that can generate whole movies for people. It is a little frightening.
Yeah, it's coming out too. So it's just around the corner. These things are coming out, although I understand that a lot of times the AI-generated photographs kind of screw things up a little bit. Sometimes a person has like 6 fingers on each hand, or there's an extra ear there or something, or there are too many flags in the background or something like that. So it still needs to be fixed a little bit, adjusted, tweaked, as we say. So this stuff is just around the corner, and that we're hearing from different people, and we're hearing their different opinions. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first day of our lesson for today. Here comes Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。在课文第3部分，有一名行销经理 Mike， 他提到说，人工智慧可以用来分析大量数据，这可以更容易理解人们想要什么和需要什么。which in turn allows us to personalize marketing content so that it's more targeted and effective. 进而让我们个人化行销内容，使其更具有针对性，也更有成效。好，这部分呢有出现2个重点。第一个就是 allow somebody to 加上原形动词的用法。动词 allow 它有允许、准许的意思，我们常常用 allow somebody to 加原形动词去表达允许某人做某事，也可以用被动语态 somebody be allowed to 加原形动词，也就是某人被允许做某事。例如 You're not allowed to take photos here. 这里禁止拍照。那我们还可以用 allow somebody to 加原形动词表达让某人得以怎么样，能够怎么样，就像课文的用法。举例来说 This app allows you to create your own emoji. 这款应用程式让你可以创造自己的表情符号。好，顺便补充一下片语动词 allow for 的用法。第一个呢，我们可以用 allow for 去表达使变的有可能，像是 The new system allows for more efficient data processing. 新的系统能让资料处理更有效率。那第二个我们可以用 allow for 去表达考量到，或者是把什么计算在内，像是 Please arrive early, allowing for traffic and parking. 考量到交通状况和停车，请提早抵达。好，那么第二个重点呢，我们是要介绍 so that 的用法。so that 是用来引导表示目的的副词子句，表达以便怎么样，好让怎么样，或者是如此一来，这样一来，怎么样怎么样。这个意思就相当于 in order that。那在口语当中 so that 的这个 that 是可以省略的。例如 John made sure to lock his bicycle so it wouldn't be stolen. John 确认自己有把脚踏车上锁，这样一来车子才不会被偷走。所以这边的 so 就是后面省略掉 that。 好，补充一下，如果 so that 和 in order that 所引导的子句它的主词跟主要子句的主词相同时，我们也可以把它改写成 so as to 加原形动词，或者是 in order to 加原形动词。例如 We got there early so that we could get good seats. 也可以说 We got there early so as to get good seats. 为了占到好位子，我们提早到那里。可是如果要表达为了不怎么样，以便不怎么样，这时候则会用到 so as not to 加原形动词，或者是 in order not to 加原形动词。例如 The singer disguised himself in order that he wouldn't be recognized. 这句话也可以改写成 The singer disguised himself in order not to be recognized. 那位歌手伪装自己，以便不被认出来。好，那么以上今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天单字吧。
Developer. The game developer recently announced the release date of their latest game. Code. Misty learned how to code in high school. Efficient. The evolution of farming systems has made food production far more efficient. Potential. Although Lewis liked Minnie's plan, he also saw some potential problems with it. Analyze. Mrs. Fields asked the students to analyze the poem. Content. We should review the content of the report before the meeting.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Mike.
I am Roger. See you next time.